Hello, welcome to, I guess, a lesson that's more aimed at beginners today. Just because you happen to like great guitar players doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to have a shot at some of the things they do that might be a little bit more simple. So this is actually a Scotty Moore based guitar lesson aimed at someone who might be a beginner. And of course, if you are more advanced, you just probably be able to have a quick look and pick up what I'm talking about. There's a few little nuances that you might find really useful, particularly if you're a beginner. You'll find some nuances there that could be the difference between playing the notes that you might be hearing and sounding a little bit more like your favorite guitar player. In this case, might be Scotty Moore or a guitar player that you like. So all I was really doing here, it's not going to be the biggest lesson today, but we're basically thinking of three chords. We're thinking of a C chord, okay? We're thinking of an F chord, which we would refer to as the 4 chord. I'll explain in a moment. And we're thinking of a G chord. And then back to a C chord. Okay, now that there obviously the bar chords, you could play the simple versions of those. You've got an F like that, 3rd fret on the 4th, 2nd, and pinching the 1st fret on these two. Little tip with that one, if you're having a hard time, get it very, very close to the fret, maybe on the fret, and roll back slightly. You'll find you get more of a pinch using that back side of your finger. So for your F chord, and a simple G chord, not a bar chord, would be that classic G chord like that. You could probably learn those chords anywhere on the internet, so I won't spend too much time on that. So that's G chord. You can have a close look, just like that. Now, so they're the three chords that we're basing this lesson on. So why I'm doing that, that's a very classic progression, what we call a 1, 4, and a 5. And why we call it that is if we're in the key of C, that's a C chord. If we play the major scale, okay, so that's 3rd fret, 5th, 2nd fret there on the 4th, 3rd fret there on the 4th, 5th fret there on the 4th, 2nd fret there on the 3rd, 4th fret there on the 3rd, and we're on the B there. That's the key of C. That's our blueprint for the numbers that we call things. So we would actually say C is the 1, D is the 2, E is the 3rd note, F is the 4. So because we're using a C chord, that's our 1 chord, and because we're using an F chord, that's the 4th note in a major scale, that is the 4 chord. And because we're using the 5th note to build our G chord, or to start our chord from, G, that's the 5 chord. And they're the chords we commonly see in a lot of music, particularly blues-based rock and roll. So with that said, we now have a way of approaching those three chords. We now have a way of outlining those three chords that we might see Scotty Moore do, and that is what I was playing in that little intro there. So we're starting from C, and we pick it, and what we do is we relax our fingers straight away, or you can even drop your right hand onto the guitar, just like that. Just drop your palm in, and that gives us that little stop bump. Then we pick the 5th fret with our 3rd finger. Well, we pick the 5th fret while holding with our 3rd finger, and we slide up to the 7. So we go just like that. So you give a tiny little bit of time on the 5th fret there, and then you slide up to the 7. Okay. Then we put our 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and we pick that and we stop it. Now, if you're a member of the Patreon, you can get the tabs for this there. If you're not a member, consider joining, because it really helps my channel. Obviously, I'm uploading regularly, heaps of different content, heaps of videos a month, so you'd be supporting that basically. But in return, you get the access to the guitar tabs. I've got the guitar tabs open right in front of me. You will have access to those. So if you are a member of the Patreon, just visit the post on my Patreon regarding this lesson, and you'll be able to open the attachment. Anyway, moving along. So that's what we do over C, and we can keep repeating that. By the way, when you slide, if you're having trouble keeping the 5 to 7 sounding fluent, just squeeze really hard. It's a little bit like scooping ice cream. Like that, you got to make sure you really keep the pressure on and slide up that 2 frets. And I'm also relaxing my first finger after I play the 5, so we get that stop again. And dropping the palm. Okay, so if you're getting through that and you're getting that to sound good, you're most of the way there, because we're literally doing the same thing for the other 2 chords, just from different positions on the guitar. So then we start from F over the 4 chord. We do the same thing, so pick it, mute it, slide 5 to 7, and play the 5th fret on the 3rd string. Then we might come back to C. Now we do the same thing for the G chord from the 5th fret there. Okay, so exactly what we did from F, we do from G. And the cool thing is, all those notes that we're using there, they all really get along well together. So in reference to each chord, it's quite a cohesive family of notes that we're using. Everything there's from the key of C, nice and simple, just works really nicely. So, okay, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but baby's woken up during me making that video, so you know what, I thought once again I'd just bring him in. Say hi, Milo. So guys, that was the end of the lesson anyhow. There's the 3 chords, you've got the C, the F, and the G. They're the things you play over it. In the very intro, you would have seen me play the C chord 4 times, the F riff or chord bass idea 2 times. We come back to C twice. We play the G twice. We come back to C. So just follow that riff at the very beginning, and there you go. So I hope that's enlightening and showing you a few little nuances that make that sound a little bit more like Scotty Moore. There's going to be another lesson coming out on this that's the more advanced fingerstyle stuff. So maybe you can build up to that. But hope you had fun with that. And of course, check out the Patreon, share, like, subscribe, do all those things. Hopefully see you in the next video. Say bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Hey.